Hello, YouTube family. Craig D, aka the Dcuo Gingerbread Man, back here with another video. And today we're going to show you my first attempt at a battle healer setup. Now, just want to say before we get too involved, um, this is awesome. And for those of you guys who have watched the last couple live streams over the past week, you'll know that I've had a ton of fun trying to figure this out, build this, have run it through a bunch of raids at this point, run it through open world content. I cannot believe that I waited so long before I got to this point. So I'm not saying this just for battle healing, but I'm saying this as far as like battle troll and battle tank too. That if you haven't tried them, and if you have the artifacts and the skill points to do so and try it out for yourself, I highly recommend it. It is so much fun. Um, this build has been um, kind of reinvigorated my uh, wanting to play the game, honestly, because it has, again, it's been a ton of fun. Um, but yeah, so, and I'm also not saying that like you're going to do a um, huge amount of damage because obviously you're a mix here of healing and DPSing. So you're not going to do as much damage as you would necessarily do when you're full DPS. You're not going to do as much healing um, as you would if you were like straight, a healer setup. Um, but what I have here is okay, we'll start with the artifacts. So I have Eye of Gemini because Eye of Gemini healing is awesome. Love it. We have Clarion for tankiness. Well, I guess I should say first, Eye of Gemini, when you use a supercharge, when you're in healer role, will restore a percentage of health and supercharge for every second supercharge abilities, respectively. And you get the little caster's watch, which is the circle there. In battle heal setup, it also helps you do a ton of um, damage in general. So um, keep that in mind. We have a shield slash some tankiness with the Clarion here. As you can see there, using the power of the Clarion, executing weapon attacks heal up to 4 nearby players with the lowest health for 7% of a priority heal. This effect is temporarily empowered when activating your weapon buff. 30% of a priority heal there. Clarion's Guard. So this basically, again, you're using a weapon buff because we're precision here for the most part, battle healing. Um, when empowered by a weapon buff, targets above 95% health are healed by restorative melody. Receive a shield for 12 seconds. The shield effectiveness increased by 100%. Players can only benefit from this once every 30 seconds. And then Arian's Might, when you're empowered by the weapon buff, weapon attacks deal 40% of your restoration and 12% of your precision as damage to all enemies near the target foe every 6 seconds. So huge there. So you're getting a shield, you're getting some tankiness, plus you're getting some extra damage just based off of using a weapon buff and some resto and precision, which is obviously the two. Um, well, the main, what's the word I'm looking for? The main trait, I guess, skill trait for healing is your restoration. So, I mean, obviously that's huge. We have Purple Ray here, which is a great, one of the better healing artifacts. Now, I know that there's not many healing artifacts in the game itself, maybe compared to like tanks have and DPSs have. Um, excuse me, but yeah, this one has been really good. This was one of the first ones that I leveled up to 200 as a healer. Healing charges your purple healing ray up to 4 times. Your total restoration with purple light. Once charged, your next priority or group heal gains a new benefit and expends all purple light. You get a Epiphany's Grace, I guess. Priority heal you and your heal target gain a shield equal to 2 times your restoration, which absorbs 20% of incoming damage for 8 seconds, resets, and then Carissa's Revitalization, group heal, place heal over time on you and allies for 8 seconds, increase heal over time value by 25%, and then blah, blah, blah. Also, then, because we are DPSing and well, you know, the combination of DPS and healing. I've got Demon's Fang here. Demon's Fang gives you every 12 seconds hitting an enemy with the weapon attack empowers your weapon to deal additional damage to your primary target and restores power over time for the next 6 hits. So not only are you getting essentially a weapon buff, or not a weapon buff, you're getting additional damage equal to, as you can see there, 8.8% of your resto and 1.82% of your precision. But you also get power restored over time too. So you're getting some tankiness with Clarion. You're getting some power back, you know, and an extra precision buff essentially with Demon's Fang. So that's all that is awesome. And then the last one I have here is Mercy. Mercy is just for the trinket pets because most of you guys know I always use trinket pets. So they're going to run with me in 100% of content at all times. So I'm just using Mercy. You have the restorative module, which is when healed, your pets, trinket pets, henchman sidekick, robot sidekick, you know, whatever, will be healed 50%. The reactive field summoning a trinket pet damages all nearby enemies. So as soon as you call them out, spawn them, they'll do damage for up to 100%. And then the attack protocol is a power. If you were, like in this case, being sorcery, that can take that basically replaces offering. However, not something that I use in there, just because I'm not using a pet. Honestly, I guess you could use it if you wanted to have the you know, trinket pets do a little bit extra damage, but I'm not really worried about that aspect of things. Now, do you necessarily need Mercy in here? If you really wanted to, I mean, you could kind of swing Omega in there as well. That might not be a bad option either, just to kind of help your DPS side of things. So just kind of something to think about too. But so, like for example, if I wanted to do that, and then if I wanted to do this, I can switch these out, right? Just for something different. And then, of course, you could come over here and throw your Omega in there somewhere. But as far as the loadout is concerned, using Soul Barrage, Boon of Souls, a shield. I also have Hard Light shield down here. So, like, when I'm, for example, when I've been doing the open world bounties, a lot of times I can solo them now with this kind of setup. So what I'll do is I'll pop 2 shields. I'll have like the Boon of Souls shield plus the Hard Light shield. I'll pop. Plus you get Clarion shield, so you're shielded all the time. Granted, again, you're not going to be doing like a boatload of damage or anything because you're not full DPS, but you're at least tanky enough that you can solo a boss over time. So I have the shield. I have a priority heal, which is Rejuvenate. I'm using Pheromone Bloom for my supercharge. Now, this one might be a little weird. However, this is nice, and I've tested this out pretty extensively. Number one, supercharge cost is only 2,500 compared to a 5,000, 10,000, which means it's going to, you know, recharge itself a lot quicker. Which for us means not only are we going to get to use it more, but that means we'll get the Eye of Gemini benefits more often. So you'll get more damage and more heals in from using Eye of Gemini. And also there you'll see the nice thing about Pheromone Bloom is that not only does it damage enemies over time, but it heals yourself. So it's kind of like, again, plays both of those roles really well. Using Transmutation for the power interaction, and then it will also deal damage, heal you near the target, but also it has a knockdown ability, which I've found useful in content. Because I mean, you could put like Circle of Protection in there, but I've tested both of them, and the damage is negligible, like differently between Transmutation and Circle of Protection. I just personally prefer using Transmutation again for the fact that it does do some damage. It will heal, you know, your buddies, if they're close to the target, and you get the knockdown feature. Then obviously we're using the weapon buff here um, for the thing. Now, as far as like how I have everything set up, I do have I do have weapon mastery, cross weapon combos, whatever whatever you want to call them. So you have that. So you have your brawling, you have your martial arts, you do that. We got the 1 point flight. Iconic powers, I'm using, again, the Pheromone Bloom, and I'm using the Hard Light Shield because, again, when you can open world, um, you can open world some folks here. So it's awesome. It is really awesome. So we'll go ahead and show you that. Um, but yeah, well, you can definitely do that. As far as the stats are concerned, so I went hybrid because we're using some. Obviously, we're using our weapon attacks a lot for Fang, for Clarion. We need the weapon buff, and then we do have obviously some a power or two that has some might damage to it. I mean, especially if you wanted to throw Omega in there instead of Mercy, um, you can do that. But we're doing is hybrid, going down the middle for your critical healing chance, obviously, because we're healing and DPSing. So you want your critical attack chance, critical attack damage, critical healing. I have 300 points in Arresto because obviously being in healer role, the moves themselves are not only going to heal you, but they're also dealing damage. So the the more resto you have, especially with those artifacts, the more resto you have, the more precision damage you'll do doing those moves. So I have three. I kind of have this kind of all over the place. Again, 300 points in Arresto. I've got 50 points in health to be a little bit more tanky, and then everything else that was left, I have into might damage because we're kind of getting the buffs from again Clarion and Demon's Fang regarding the um, precision buffs. Also, I just thought of this as well. Um, More than likely, what's going to happen is you could, even if you don't have like Omega, you could even throw in something like, because we are focusing on weapon attacks a lot, you could probably throw something in here like Tantu Totem and get the aspects that way. Um, Also, you'll be able to get the aspects there, the lion aspect, the shark aspect, the gorilla aspect, all that kind of stuff. So just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying that you should switch it. What I have been literally doing and testing out is this. Like if you take again, if we take Omega out of there, um, putting Mercy in. If you're someone who doesn't like to use trinket pets a lot anyway, throw Omega in there and just add it into your whatever. But what I wanted to do is I want to show you. I know I've been rambling here for the last 13 minutes here, but what I wanted to show you is we are going to show you um, what I want to do is we're going to go open world, and we're going to go solo. Sorry, I'm coughing a lot. I've been fighting a chest cold here over like the last week. But what I want to do is I want to go find an open world boss, and we're going to solo that bastard. So um, let's try it and see. So what I want to do is I think I'll be okay with the one shield. Um, I think I'll be okay with the one shield. We'll test it out and see. But I've noticed again that I can be super tanky. Let me go
Maybe
get
one of
credit
these
for it.
days we'll
Let me
be
see.
free of all these super-powered monsters.
Bounty.
For
Okay, yeah. Let
now,
me just use that
you
so I
can
get
use your
the
points.
credit for it. Well, I mean, why not, right? Let's get some credit for it. Before we get too far, otherwise, if you guys could do me a huge solid favor before we finish this up and hit that like button, share this with your friends. Please consider subscribing if you're new. We're trying to hit 7,500 subscribers by the end of the year, and 10,000 is my ultimate goal. So I forget where Prime Syndicate is. I know they're around somewhere. Where are they at? Let me find them. This might have not been the wait, I think, Ultraman's back here. one of them's back here, right? One of them is here. Oh, here we go. Super one. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Ready? We're going to show you. I'm going to do this by myself. Ready? Open little bounties by yourself. Let's go. Here we go. So we're going to get the power back from the Demon's Fang. We got all the pets going here. Now you will see, you'll notice, well, again, the damage is not, it's not like I'm burning the crap out of her. But we're doing pretty well. And I'm able to heal myself, and even like her hitting me isn't really doing much of anything. Now you'll notice once I do the Pheromone Blast, get out of Gemini, you'll watch. Let's see how, that's a big hit. Now she's taking a bunch of damage now. But again, you'll notice that like there's literally nothing. Like she's barely like hitting me for anything substantial. Like anything substantial. So I feel like I have unlocked my potential. Maybe I've unlocked my full potential. And look, boom, she's gone. She disappeared. Bam. All right, so now we'll just say that here's what we'll do here. So what I'll do is we'll try something else. So, here's whatchamacallit, right? Ultraman. So here's what we can do. So let's do this. Just because I want to try this too. So let's put Omega in here. And see if that does anything for us. So, let's see. We'll put shield. I'll do Omega there. Now we'll see this. Now let's see. Let's see if we can get Ultraman. Right?
I will end. I am stronger.
Now, obviously, you don't want to pop both shields at the same time. That would just be a waste of a shield. But then here, look, I can pop this shield. And look, Ultraman's not doing anything to me, basically. Now, I will say, of course, that this will take, it'll take longer to charge up Omega this way. So, I mean, that is something you might want to consider.
Is that all?
Something you might want to consider there. There we go. So there we grab I've got everything. But again, very, very tanky, I've noticed. And this is awesome because I can literally, now I've unlocked potential. I can pretty much, kind of do these bounties myself if I want to, which is awesome.
Is that all?
And yes, it may take a little longer for me to do so, but I can do them by myself. I don't need anybody. Even this, he's not really getting too hard, so.
You will die.
Pardon me again. Sorry, like I said, I've been fighting a chest cold here. But this has been really awesome. Like I said, and there we go. So we got Ultraman done. So, again, you could use Omega in this case, I feel like, to get a little bit extra might damage. However, you're not going to be able to charge it up as quickly. Now, of course, if you were able to, if you forewent doing your cross weapon combos and the precision, and you went all might, then of course Omega would charge faster, and I would probably recommend doing Omega. But this way with precision has been a lot of fun. Um, Even if you have something newer, like you don't have Mercy, you don't have Omega, if you had like Sinestro's Ring, you could technically throw that in here with Fang, Clarion, Purple Ray, Gemini. Probably could throw in Trans card. Like I said, you could probably throw in Tantu. So just depending on what artifacts you have, that's why I'm recommending, things that you could swap in. Um, but I would stick to like these four. Obviously, your Demon's Fang for the precision buffs. Purple Healing Ray is one of the better healing artifacts. I have Gemini obviously gets you the healing supercharge buff and the or not no, no, I'm sorry. You get the buff from I have Gemini when you use your supercharge. Plus you're healing yourself using the pheromone boost, all the bloom. You're able to use it more often. So, and then obviously Clarion, as you can see, has just been tanky. You get that extra shield, so not a bad thing at all. But again, depending on um, what artifacts you have, I would, like I said, I would try to get at least these four for sure. The fifth one you can kind of swap out and play with, depending on what you're going for. But I think personally, I prefer having it more precision based because then you're not worried about Omega, and Omega doesn't necessarily take a slot from your loadouts, if that makes sense. But again, if you want to focus more on damage than the healing, sure, go ahead and do that. But um, to me, I think I have more fun with it um, in this sense. So, with that being said, like I said, I feel like I unlocked my potential with this build, and I feel like I'm going to use this build quite often. So, if you see me running content, you see me streaming, don't be surprised now if you see me using this Battle Heal loadout pretty frequently. So, with that being said, guys, I'm going to conclude this episode right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see you soon.